Well, good morning, everybody. It's Bobby at Bobby's Hobbies. How are you today? Well, I'm still here, so we're going to keep cooking and playing with trains and whatever else I do. All right, so here we go. So today, I'm going to do something different. We're going to make Krusty's gingerbread cookie mix, but instead, we're going to make the amazing cake. So the amazing cake says you put a quarter cup of vegetable oil, a cup of water, and 2 eggs plus this mix. Heat the oven to 350 and bake for 23 to 27 minutes. It says a 13-inch by 9-inch pan, but we're doing it this way, so it's a deep pan. A 13 by 9, that's a big pan. Maybe I should get a different pan. An alternate pan, it's 8 by 8. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Let's see how much mass goes into this mix. So I'm going to take the Krusty's that's the only way to do it. So this is a gingerbread. Let's give this a little bit of a smell test here. Ooh, wow, that smells delicious. All right, no turning back now. There goes all the water. It's a whole cup of water. Here's a quarter cup of oil. All right, so we got that in there. The oven is heating up. I'm gonna get this lightweight mixer that doesn't have a heavy handle. This one has a heavy handle, and if you don't watch it, the heavy handle will flip it out. It will flip it out of the mixing bowl. Now, there's still 2 ingredients that have to go in here. This is a lot of, that's a lot of volume. I don't know. Very liquidy. Let's put in our World War II egg. Every egg is a dive bomb egg for me. Let's see, where could this be bombing today? Oh, Coventry, that was a good one. Again, a disaster because so many people died and the British and Winston Churchill knew it was coming. And they didn't tell anybody because they knew if the town were evacuated, the Germans might figure out, hey, they broke our code. Well, that's a pretty terrible thing you have to do to try to win a war, you know. You'd think after that war nobody would want to do it again. But, I don't know. I guess people must think it's a great idea. I mean, crazy. Oh, look at that. We seem to have gotten an eggshell in there. It's time for eggshell extraction. And of course, it's in the egg white. There, we got it. So, all right. Now that's a small yolk in there. I found strange ways to make noise. Oh, I know I should put a towel under this, a kitchen towel here. That'll help stop the spinning by increasing the friction. And now we have our batter. That does look Does look like a lot of batter. Now it did say a 12-inch. What did it say on here? Yeah, 13 by 9. So that's 90, 2,717 square inches. 8 by 8 is only 64. It's really only half. So maybe we got to use both of these. You know what? Just to be safe, I'll start to butter up that pan. Come back. All right, so I've got our mixture. I've got 2 pans greased up just in case as I pour it in. I'm still going to be doing the presidential breakfast stuff as I'm doing my research. I found out that President Nixon had a very weird breakfast, which is perfect for the internet. President Nixon, Tricky Dickie's breakfast favorite was cottage cheese with ketchup. Now, I think that's not enough for a whole video, just cottage cheese and ketchup. So I got to do a little background on that and see what his predecessor, had, Johnson, and what his successor had, Ford, and then we maybe could compare it, and because, cottage cheese and ketchup doesn't sound good. Who knows? Maybe it was great. I mean, it's one of those weird things I never would have thought to put ketchup on cottage cheese. So, anyway, that's my research. So now, with this, this is a very liquidy batter. See, I'm just wondering if it's a cookie batter. Let's see, what would it have been in here if we did the cookie? We'd only been 1 egg. Oh. And a stick or half cup of butter. That would have been the cookie. All right, well, let's go for the straight pan. Now let's see that? It's very light, doesn't tip it over. I'm gonna grab this. I don't think it's gonna rise that much. I'm gonna risk it. I mean, they said it could make a cake. Let's take a chance. All right, I buttered this one for nothing. But, worse things have happened. All right, let's give it a whirl. All right, so we got this on. The oven's on. It's all hot and ready. Woo, a lot of heat. This is cold, so I really, it's cold, so I'm not going to use the mitt because I really just rather have the better grip. There we go. She's in. All right. So it's 8:25. Let's call it 30 minutes. We'll come back and check. It's on convection, so it might be less. So 8:20, 30. Okay. 8:55. We're gonna come back and check it though at 8:50. All right, we'll be back. Okay. Well, it's 8:50. So let's take a look. Oh, wow, that looks really good. Probably got to do the toothpick test. So it's been in there 25 minutes, at around 27 minutes. I'll get the toothpick and we'll be back. Okay, well, it's been in there at least 27 minutes. That's what the instructions said. It looks kind of done, going by eye. Gotta get the toothpick. Oh, that looks pretty. It's probably hot as hell. There's a lot of moisture in there still. Got our toothpick here. So let's test it out. Okay, it's still a little wet, but I don't know if it's going to be toasted dry. It's not coming off. I mean, Yeah. It's a little, I don't know, I guess I could leave it in there. I'm going to leave it in there 2 more minutes. Because you don't want it to be like raw in there. So let's leave it in there. We'll come back. Okay, well, we've left the cake in the oven. I just shut the oven off because that's something I've done in the past. You know, you take the thing out and you forget the oven's on. So I like to shut the oven off. Smells delicious. Yeah, it's a few extra minutes seem to have dried off that crevasse area. And now if we put the toothpick in, it's a lot drier. I don't want it to be dried out because I never made this before, and I have a feeling part of the enjoyment of it is that it's got a moist flavor and texture. It smells delicious, looks fascinating, and now continuing on with the Washington discovered theme. I discovered it after I made it. I started to make it. I said, I wonder if anybody made a gingerbread cake. Sure enough, comes from the time I love, the 18th century. And Martha Ball Washington used to make it. It was George Washington's mother. So that's pretty fascinating. Then I found out that George Washington was a hog farmer, probably like ribs. So I'm going to make some ribs. I don't know that he would have eaten ribs for breakfast, but he definitely would have had this for breakfast, putting a little powdered sugar on it. And I have no idea if this is yummy. It smells yummy. It says put powdered sugar. Now, this is not Martha Ball Washington, George Washington's mother's recipe. This is Krusty's recipe. Eventually, I'll have to try to find her recipe, assuming it does exist. I guess that's one of the great things about being famous. Your stuff tends to last. What you did, the things you ate, all that kind of wonderful stuff. So, the way they live on. And then later in the day or whatever, I'll make the ribs and season them up. Now I'm going to season them a little bit of an Italian style, but there's a lot of people in America from that time that were Italian. Like, for example, America itself is named after the map maker Amerigo Vespucci. We all know about Columbus, but even other explorers, and people from the time. The Cabot Lodge, the guy Cabot was originally Cabotti. So the Italians find their way everywhere. And I don't know what the seasoning recipe for ribs might have been in the 18th century. So I'm going to season them in a way that will be good. And I've got the ribs over here. And I'm going to use salt, black pepper, red pepper, garlic, olive oil, and some Italian breadcrumbs, and throw them on the barbecue. Maybe George Washington would have liked it. I'll try to look up to see if there's any seasoning recipes from that time. Might be interesting. So, but anyway, for the breakfast, we've got our delicious looking gingerbread cake. I'm going to let that cool off a bit. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's a George Washington family favorite. Again, this is not the original recipe, but at least it's something reminiscent. And we'll hopefully add that in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy, and please subscribe.